Trump VP and all-around weirdo JD Vance has a problem with women. And new recordings keep making that problem worse.
And the evidence on this, by the way, is like super clear.
That's the whole purpose of the postmenopausal
Yes.
female in theory. Did your in-laws, and particularly your mother-in-law, show up in some huge way?
She lived with us for a year.
Right.
So, you know.
So I didn't know the answer to that.
Right. No.
Because that's this weird unadvertised feature of marrying an Indian woman.
No, it's in some ways the most transgressive thing I've ever done against sort of the hyper neoliberal approach to work and family. My wife had this baby 7 weeks before she started the clerkship. It was still not sleeping any more than an hour and a half in a given interval. And her mom just took a sabbatical. She's a biology professor in California. Just took a sabbatical for a year and came and lived with us and took care of our kid for a year.
Okay, so first off, taking care of the grandkids. So the whole purpose of the post-menopausal female, in theory, y'all on the right wing are not beating the weird allegations. Let me tell you what, because every time I hear a right-winger talk about women and they use the word female, I think of this.
They shamelessly clothe their females, inviting others to unclothe them, the very depth of perversion.
They're Ferengi. That's what they are, and not the good ones like Rom, okay, or Nog. But anyway, let's get to the point, right? So to them, once a woman is post-menopausal, can no longer have babies, their whole purpose is to become unpaid labor to take care of the grandchildren, okay? Well, look, that actually doesn't surprise me because remember, the whole role that Republicans want women to play in the household is that of free labor, free childcare and domestic duties, which, by the way, is difficult work. Raising children is hard work. Doing domestic duties, making sure the house is clean, that's not easy. It's hard work, okay? And it is often very much ignored, especially by men, okay? So my wife and I, we both split the chores, although oftentimes I actually end up doing more housework. Sorry, babe, but it's the truth. I do a lot of the housework and, along with being able to work at home. It's one of the perks, also one of the negative things, because when you're home, you got some free time, you might want to pick up the dishes or pick up after yourself, So it's one of those things that I do. But generally, in most households, the domestic duties fall unfairly on the shoulders of women. And that is labor. That is unpaid labor. So now there are people on the right wing that expect women to do all of that and not complain at all. And not only that, but to remain the ideal partner, to stay fit, physically attractive, to be sexually available at all times. And so that's the role that these people want women to play. And of course, once their childbearing and rearing days are over, to then provide those things, plus help raise their grandchildren. Now, look, I know plenty of women who do above and beyond phenomenal work, right? And that's wonderful, right? But it shouldn't be the expectation, much less their entire purpose, okay? Their purpose is whatever they want it to be. And if they want it to use to be able to help out their family members, that's a wonderful thing. And it should be, that should be celebrated, right? People who give so much of themselves and help out and do these things should be celebrated and they should be thanked. For example, my mom takes care of my nephew. Has been taking care of him for a long time, especially since my sister passed away about 6 years ago. Now, the father, he is very much in their life. I mean, he works, and so my mom provides childcare essentially while he's on the job, and he is very, very thankful for my mom's help. But it should never be an expectation, and in our family, it's not. It's thanked, and there's reward to it, right? And the thing is, it's not my mom's primary purpose, and it's not something that she's expected to do. It is something that she does because it helps the family that she loves, and that's it right there. That's the issue, okay? when you distill a woman's worth down to child rearing and expect her to do these things, I mean, that's a problem. Now, further on in that discussion, by the way, Vance gets into what he sees as a overall societal issue with women working.
Okay,
And
so
it was just one of these things where it's like, this is what you do.
so a biology professor, PhD,
Yes.
drops what they're doing
Yeah.
to immediately tend to the needs
Yeah.
of a new mother with
Right.
her infant.
Painfully economically inefficient. Right?
Can I just propose a really,
Why didn't she just keep her job, give us part of the wages to pay somebody
Yeah.
else to do it, right? Because that is the thing that the hyper liberalized economics wants you to do. The economic logic of always prioritizing paid wage labor over other forms of contributing to a society is to me, it's actually a consequence of a sort of fundamental liberalism that is ultimately going to unwind and collapse upon itself.
Has to. I think we're at the end of it.
It's the abandonment of a sort of Aristotelian virtue politics for a hyper market oriented way of thinking about what's good and what's desirable. If people are paying for it and it contributes to GDP and it makes the economic consumption numbers rise, then it's good. And if it doesn't, it's bad. I think that entire sort of, to me, that's sort of the root of our political problem.
That guy wants you to think that he's the everyman, that he's the average person. You're kidding me, right? So actually, you know what? It kind of feels like this could be a critique of capitalism and how it does prioritize people making money for a capitalist instead of being able to spend time with their family. But J.D. Vance does not take it in that direction. He takes what could be a good point against, hey, how about we, I don't know, design a society where we work less and we're able to work less and keep our livelihoods and still be able to, you know, obviously, since we're working less, we can see our family more. Well, okay, hey, I'm on board if that's what you're saying. But no, he takes this, what could be a critique of this, sort of capitalism, right? That does keep people away from their families and working jobs that they despise, hate, for things like health insurance and be able to afford food and rent and stuff. And he directs it, though, at women. That's right. By saying it's the fault of the women for wanting to, or in this case, needing to work because it takes two incomes to survive now, thanks to stagnating wages and super high corporate profits. He's blaming the women for having to work for the breakdown of the family. What? Look, right now, again, you have to prioritize working because you can't survive on a single income. The median annual wage in 2021 in the U.S. was $45,760. That's the median. In order to live comfortably, in 99 of the largest U.S. cities, a person actually has to make $93,933. That's not for a family. That's one person. For a family, it's a hell of a lot more. Okay, you're talking $200,000, $300,000. Okay, for a family of four to live comfortably. And by comfortably, they mean, well, you're not spending, more than 50% of your income on housing. Okay, so now the issue is people not being able to afford to live. So that's why couples have to work and why people are choosing not to have as many children. It's not, liberal feminism is destroying families because, they would rather work than do the important job of having and raising babies. No. It's the fact that owning a home, raising a family, and living comfortably in this country is simply out of reach for the vast majority of people. The American dream is essentially dead. Now, what's J.D. Vance going to do about it? J.D. Vance is going to continue the kinds of Reagan-esque policy, low taxes on the rich that contributed to the death of the American dream in the first place. Going after women, as J.D. Vance has continuously done, for either not wanting to or not being able to become parents, it's not a good look for him, and it shouldn't be. It's weird, and therefore, vote accordingly. especially if you're a woman. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.